everyone, and then if my screen is visible. Okay, so we can begin with today's session. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Vaishnavi. So, class, the topic for today's web development session is Bootstrap. And today we'll be covering how do we use Bootstrap using Grid and Plex. And my name is Rimjim, and I work as a cloud engineer at Infosys. And mainly, my primary role is to work on Azure containers and then Kubernetes and then virtual machines on Azure platform. Okay, let's move ahead with the agenda session for today. Yeah, so our agenda for today would be like I'll brief about like what Bootstrap is, what are CDNs, and then how do we install Bootstrap from the official Bootstrap page, and then what are the versions of Bootstrap which are available, and then what is the reason behind using Bootstrap, and then like the main topic for today is Grid and Flex, like how do we write a program using Grid and then Flex, and then I'll be covering some labs for Grid and Flex, and then I'll also show you what is the official Bootstrap page wherein all the versions are there. Okay, so let's move ahead. So what Bootstrap is the most popular CSS framework for developing responsive and mobile first websites. So the reason, and in simple language, if I try to explain what Bootstrap is and why do we use Bootstrap is, so for example, if we have a phone and then if you are viewing Flipkart, or let's say if you're viewing any kind of websites, or if you're viewing any kind of HTML page for an instance, so the what do we say, the dimensions and the fashion which we see on phone would be different, like the number of the screen size would be different, like our phone screen size is different, and then the website, when we're viewing a website on a particular laptop, the pixels and the image resolution changes. So to bridge that particular gap of viewing websites at different places, so for example, if we are viewing a particular website on a laptop, so the screen size is mainly, and the breakpoint therein which is used for displaying any kind of web page on a particular laptop screen or on a TV screen. So the resolution is mainly LG or LLG or extra large. Okay, so like these are the breakpoints which I'll teach you in the upcoming slides. Okay, so to cover those particular gaps, we use Bootstrap. Okay, so if we are, I'll also show you in the later section for today's. I think like I'll show you how do we like while writing a program, how do we inspect a particular code, like how do we see where what resolutions I'll be in a phone or what resolutions I'll see in iPhone SE screen, and then at different places, so that we come to know how Bootstrap makes a difference there. Okay, so and also like I see, for example, if I'm using, this is my phone, okay, so the alignment of a website on a phone is different, and the alignment of a website on a larger screen is different. Okay, so this is the reason why we're using Bootstrap to make our websites more dynamic and to make it more responsive. Okay. So Bootstrap 5 is the newest version which we are having right now. B3, B4, B5, and then we in 3 also we have 3.1, 3.2, 3.4. Depending on the browser compatibilities, depending on the browser version which our laptop is supporting, we can install Bootstrap. Okay, and Bootstrap is a free front end framework and faster, easier web. So like talking about the installation and free framework, so we can easily go and install Bootstrap from the official page, or we can even include the CDNs which are available on the web page. So it's a free framework which is available, it like without any cost. And then also Bootstrap includes HTML and CSS based design templates. So for example, if you're writing a CSS program or if you're writing a JavaScript program, so all the what do we say, all the CDNs are already available on the web page. So our task is only to import those CDNs and to use in our program. Okay, forms, bottle navigations, and then many other, as well as optional JavaScript plugins. And then Bootstrap also gives you the ability to easily create responsive design. So herein, if I'm saying responsive, what do I actually mean is to see the website in different places, like big monitor screen or in a smaller monitor screen. So the height, alignment, size, and all these things would differ. So to cover that gap, we're using Bootstrap, and herein the responsive thing points out to that direction. Okay, and also, class, if you're having any doubts, you can stop me in between so that I can explain that topic in more depth. Or if you want me to go a bit slower, or if you want me to explain some topics, you can always interrupt me. Okay. And then the reason why we use Bootstrap is it is easy to use. So anybody with just a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS can start using Bootstrap from the official web page by importing the CDNs, and it's just a simple program of HTML and CSS. Only the thing which differs is like the grid concept and the flex concept, and also the importing concept, which I'll tell you. Also, responsive features. So, Bootstrap responsive CSS adjusts to phones, tablets, and desktop, as I told you in my previous slide. So, if I'm telling responsive, what it actually means is like the alignment of phone screens and the alignment of other laptop screens differs. So it makes it responsive. Okay, it is a mobile first approach, and then it has a browser compatibility feature also. So Bootstrap 5 is compatible with all the, if we are installing the latest version, which is Bootstrap 5, so it is compatible with all the browsers. So we can use it on Edge, or we can use our Bootstrap program on Safari, Opera, or any of the modern browsers which are there. Okay, but this is a note point which is there. So if we need support for IE 11 and down, we must either use BS4 and BS3. So for IE 11, we do not have a support for um, Bootstrap. Okay, so we have BS5 version. We have to use either BS4 or BS3, or the later versions, which is 2.1 or 2.3 versions, which are available. Okay, and talking about the CDNs is like what CDN is. So there are two ways in which we can use Bootstrap. One is to include Bootstrap 5 from a CDN, okay, and the other thing is download a Bootstrap from a Get Bootstrap, like from the official website. Either we can download it, or we can include a CDN, or we can import the CDN from the official website. And then let me just show you where CDNs are. So we just have to go and search and type Bootstrap. The first thing, which is getbootstrap.com, this is their official site. And for example, as I told you, new in version is 5.2, which has the responsive off cans and the newer utilities. So for example, how would you come to know what is the compatibility which is suiting your laptop? So you have to go and see what is the Chrome version your laptop is having, or what is the um, other version which your laptop is having. Okay, so you can just go type run CPL, open this particular page, and then here you can check the version of your Microsoft Edge. So my Edge version is 103.0.1264.c2. Okay, and my Chrome version is 103.0.5060. So this is the latest version which is for Chrome. Okay, so like by checking the versions of your browsers, you can just check that, and then herein you have to go, and then you can select any of the versions. So for example, b 5.1.3 and 5.0.2, it is compatible with all the versions of Chrome and Edge. So either you can install that. Okay, if I select here, and then you just have to go and then download this particular thing from a download button. Okay, so you have to go there, you have to download, and then you have to start using Bootstrap. And the other way is, if you do not want to download Bootstrap, so the other way is we just have to include this particular um CDNs which are available. Okay, so this is a CDN which is available for bundle, and this is a CDN which is available for I guess there was one more version which was there for JavaScript and Popper. Let me just go to BS4. So this is the version which is available for CSS. So if I am writing a CSS program, I can just import this particular CDN available. And the other one is JavaScript with Popper bundle. So I can just copy these two CDNs, and then I can include it in my program whenever I'm writing my grid or flex program. Okay. Is this clear, class? How do we import? Okay, so like this is how we include the CDNs, and then while writing the program, I'll show how do we import in the header section of my program. So let's just move ahead for now. Where is my slide? So this is what our CDN is. To include the CDNs, what do we have to do is either we have to install, okay, to get started with the Bootstrap, or either we have to download, or either we have to import the CDNs in our program. Okay, include Bootstrap 5 from a CDN, content delivery network. Okay, so this is done. So what is containers is like, so in other programming languages, to make our program more look to look it aligned, or to make it more readable, what do we use? Like for example, in C++, to make our program readable, we were using classes, we were using objects, and then there are other concepts also. So similar to that, in Bootstrap we have container. So why do we use container is, so it's the most basic element, if I can say so. It's the most basic layout element in Bootstrap. Okay, so to make my program look a bit organized, or to it provides also like it provides margin, padding, alignment, and more to my HTML elements. So if I want to use a grid, so for example, before using grid I have to use a container to make my program a bit padded or to make my program a bit aligned. Okay, so the container class is one of the most important Bootstrap classes, and it provides margins, padding, alignments, and other things to my program. So, for example, if I'm using grid, first thing is I'll be using container. And to declare a container, what I'll be doing is I'll be using the keyword container here. So to declare a container, the keyword which we use is container keyword, and then we close the div section. We all know why do we use div, and then inside my div, I'll be writing the grid program. Okay. So let's just move ahead with grid. So what is grid is class. So Bootstrap grid is used for layouts. Like we all know why Bootstrap is using, why we are using Bootstrap. We know that Bootstrap is used for layouts to make our program a bit responsive. We were using Bootstrap. So grid is used for layouts, specifically responsive layouts. Okay, and grid is made up of grouping of rows and columns. So what do I mean if I am saying here grouping of rows and columns here? Let me just enhance the size of my screen and then have a pointer option. So what I'll be doing is in like Bootstrap grid, it allows me up to 12 columns across the page. So for example, this consider this as my page. So consider this as my page. I don't know, highlighter is not working. No, no, something is getting wrong. Yeah. So consider this as my page. Okay. So if I'm having this particular page, so in my page, what Bootstrap does is if I'm using grid using Bootstrap, so every thing in my page is divided into 12 columns. Okay. So this is my first column, this is my second column, third column, fourth column, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So it is divided into 12 equal columns. Okay. So Bootstrap grid system allows up to 12 columns across the page. Okay. So for example, if I want to display three elements, okay, so if I want to display three elements here, what I have to do is if I want to display three elements with an equal spacing and equal clarity, okay, so one is here, other is here, and the third one also is here. So what I'll do is I'll divide this particular thing which says here 12, I'll divide it with 3 because I want to divide three pictures, which makes up to 4. Okay, so what I'll do is whenever I'm writing my program, the div size which I'll give is 444 for all the three pictures or for all the three elements which I'm displaying in my page. Okay, and if you do not want to use all 12 columns individually, you can group the column together into a wider column. So for example, if I do not want to use all these 12 columns, so if I want to display my page, like if I want to display only one element in my program, so in that also, like at that point of time, I do not need to give any numbering in my div section. Like it would consider like entire screen as 12 and then it would display the item. For example, if I want to display two elements in my program, so this would be my division, and then herein my first element would be displayed, and then the other section, in the other part, my second element would be displayed. Okay, is this concept clear, class? And herein, like horizontal line is my row and vertical line is my column. Okay. In this image also we can see like there are 12 columns, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, so this is how grid works. Like always when we are using grid, we have to make sure that we are giving like our total call count is always 12. Like this is mainly like this 12 number is nothing but my entire screen size is considered as a 12. Okay, am I clear, class? Should I move ahead? This concept would more get clearer when I just cover the other topics. So in grid we have breakpoints. So for example, if you're using XS breakpoint, so XS is mainly for phones, for phone screens which is less than 768 pixels wide. SM is for tablet screens which is equal or greater than 768 pixels wide. Okay, for tablet screens, okay, which is equal to or greater than 768. Okay, which is less than 768, then it is for phones. And then MD is for small laptops with screen size is equal to or greater than 992 pixels wide. LG is for laptops and desktop screens which is equal to or greater than 1200 pixels wide. And then the classes above can be combined to create more dynamic and flexible layouts. Okay, so whenever I'm writing my grid program, what I'll do is, so this is a basic grid program. Like this is the simplest program which I have taken here. So this is nothing but a snip of my notepad program. Okay. So as I told you, whenever I'm writing my grid program, what the main thing is, like I have to use containers first. Like I have to use container to make sure that my alignment is proper. So inside my container, what I'll do is, so I have made a row here. So my class is row. Okay, and then as I told you, my call count should always mark up to 12. So here in 4, 4, 4. And this SM is nothing but my breakpoint here. Okay. So this is nothing but my breakpoint. Okay. So the class, so this is the keyword which which you all have to remember, like call hyphen SM hyphen, the number which you have to give. Okay. So for example, like I want to display my page into 3 elements. So 4, 4 and 4. So my first element, so the first thing which I have written here is example 1. So example 1 would come here, example 2 would come here, and then example 3 would come here. This is how I have like this would be the output of this particular program. So first program would come here, second program, like this text, but this particular text would come in between, and the third text would come at the last. Okay, and this is why, because the alignment which I've given to, or the breakpoint which I've given to my program is for 444. Okay, and the breakpoint is SM for smaller screens mainly. So smaller screens include phones, like all the phones comes in SM breakpoint. Okay, so I'll be using SM. Okay, I hope this example is clear, class, to everybody. Are we there, people? Any doubts, class, in grid example or in grid program? Yeah. Okay. So let's just move ahead. Where is our presentation? So yeah. So this is what grid program mainly consists of. So if I tell you all what do you have to remember in grid is, so the first thing is container keyword which you have to remember. So before creating a grid, we have to use a container. The second thing is we all have to make sure that we are creating a row, and inside my row, the divisioning of all these things. So like the breakpoint which I told you, SM, LG, double XL or XL, whatever breakpoint I want to give, I'll be giving it here. And then this is the syntax mainly, like call hyphen SM4, call hyphen SM4. Okay, so like it is mainly, class, how do we want to divide my page, or how do we want to display our elements in a particular web page. So this is how I was displaying my element in a 444 division. We can even have two classes of 6 6, or we can have even more classes. Like I can 3 3 3 also we can have, or we can have 2 2 2 also, depending on the number of elements I'm having. Okay. And in this class, whenever I am writing this element, so for example, herein I just had a header and then I just wrote a program. Okay. I just, I'm so tired. Okay. So here in my paragraph, like this is a paragraph which I have written. And here in class, you can also, for example, you can display a link, or you can insert an image using imgsrc tag, or anything you can write depending on your will. So this is like inside my div, or inside this for partitioning, this particular thing before the div closure, you can write anything. So for example, herein you can display an image. So imgsrc is equal to whatever image name you want to give, or herein you can insert any kind of hyperlinks depending on what you want to have. Okay, so like herein you'll be writing the main intention of your program, or the main code why you want to have three divisions. So for example, if you want to display one image, two image, three image, so imgsrc is equal to first image name, second image name, third image name, depending on your program. Okay. So the next topic is flex. So the reason why we use flex is, like, flex is similar to grid. There's no difference in flex and grid. Okay, but there's one slight difference, which is, like, in grid we were having 12 positioning. So in grid we had a positioning of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then herein, if you can see, this is the positioning value which I was giving, 4, 4, 4. And then I was dividing my page, and then always I had to make sure that my total, my call count would total up to 12 size. But in flex, it would also display my page into similar structure as of grid, but the only difference is, like, it would not, like, we do not need to uh, use this particular 12 positioning, or we do not need to declare this call count, or nothing. We just have to import the already built flex classes which are there in Bootstrap. Okay. So we have classes. We just have to use those classes which are there in Bootstrap, and that's it. Okay, so the Flexbox layout module makes it easier to design responsive layouts. Okay, for float or positioning. So Flex utility can be used to manage the layout, alignment, grid, column, navigation, anything. It makes us use Flex classes to control the layout of Bootstrap for components. Okay, so we have a lot of classes. Okay, I'll show you an example. So here in this is my class d-flex. So whenever I'm declaring flex, I always have to make sure that I'm using d-flex, and then this is the size which I've given. Background is secondary, text is white. So we have inbuilt flex classes, and then using this format, like my text would be white for all these three things, and then my background would be secondary, my size would be 3. So there are other flex classes also. So for example, I have reverse. We have flex hyphen row hyphen reverse. We have flex hyphen row hyphen between around. There are enormous numbers of classes which are available. So we can use those classes. Okay, and then herein I have flex item 1, item 2, item 3. It would be displayed in the similar way how it was displaying in grid. Okay, so the only difference in grid and flex is like it doesn't have positioning, or it doesn't have any call count, which should always total up to 12. So this is the difference which we have in grid and flex. Okay, and any doubts, class, until now? Okay, so let's just move ahead with hyperlink. So as I told you, like the reason why I included hyperlink is because I'll be writing a program using grid and flex, which would have a link, and then if I click on that link, it would take me to that particular web page. Okay, you can click on the link and jump to another document. So this is a like simple concept. So what I'll do here is I'll be writing a grid program with 3 partitions, or with 2 partitions, with six partitions as of now, and then how to import the CDS. Okay, so let's just start. And then class, I did not download Bootstrap in my laptop, but if you wish, you can just write, as I showed you on this particular official website, you can download it from here, and then you can use Bootstrap. But as of now, I'll be writing only using this, in using a normal notepad, because this everybody is having. Okay. And then mainly class, the headers or the CDNs which we mainly import in the header section of my program. Okay. So what I'll do is inside the header section, let me just import my CDN. So inside my head section, let me also have a title. So title mainly class, it displays like whatever I write inside my title, it would display in my in the browser head. Okay. And then herein where my head starts, I will display the I will import the CDNs from this particular page. Okay, so this is the first CDN. I'll copy it. I'll go to my notepad. I'll copy it here. Okay, Control V, enter. Again, go to the web page and copy this 2 CDNs also. So I have the CDNs which are there. So now I'll close. So this CDN is mainly for normal HTML and CSS, and the other 2 CDNs for uh, is for JavaScript and Popper. Okay, but I have included all the 3 CDNs slash head. So I have closed the header section of my program, and then inside the header section, so like here in my body section would start, and then inside the body section, as I told you, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a container. Okay, and any guesses, class? What is the keyword for container? The keyword which we use for container is container. Okay, and then I'll not close my div here. I'll like after writing entire content, I'll close my container section. Okay, and then here and let me just create a row. Div class is equal to row. And then all these things class, mind it, it has to be in what do we say, in double quotes. Div class row. And then what I'll do is now here in my grid concept comes in picture. So what I'll do is div class is equal to let's have call hyphen, and sm is the breakpoint, as I told you. Herein you can have lg, you can have m, or you can have double XL or large depending on the breakpoint which you want to use. So hyphen, let me say I am giving a positioning value of 6, and then let's come down, and then here in whatever content I want to write. So as shown in the example, let me just write example 1, and then I'll close the header part, and then I'll just come down here, and then let's just write a paragraph which states anything, HP, then I'll close one div for 6 positioning. Okay, and then let me just copy this thing because I do not want to write it again. Okay, and then one more div, I guess. One more, two more. Hash div. And then body and HTML would get closed. Okay, so let me try to explain the program class. So here in what I have done is I have imported the 3 CDNs which were available on the official website in order to use grid and flex in my program. Okay, and then here in the body section of my program begins wherein I'll write the main agenda of what my program was. So here in what I have done is like I have created a container. I have created a class container which is mainly, why do we use containers is which is used for padding and alignment for my program. Okay, I have created a row, and then I have partitioned my column into 2 sections, which is 6 and 6. So, like if you consider this my screen, like this would be my first element, this would be my second element. It would display like, okay, and then I have closed everything. I have closed all the divs. One is for row, one is for container, and the other one is for this one. Div class is equal to call hyphen sm hyphen 6. So after getting everything closed, what I'll do is I'll save my program, save as. So let me just go on desktop. I have a file, Bootstrap, and then here in what I'll do is what should I name? Let's say Bootstrap. Let me just save it with boot. Okay. Dot HTML. Okay. Whenever we are writing our HTML program, we always have to make sure that we are saving it with boot. So save. One second, huh? I'm getting a call. So I have saved it. I'll go to the folder. This was the program which I created just now, 22/7/1834. So let me just run this program. So yeah, if you can see from here till here, it is my sixth element for till here, and then the second element, like if I want to display like how grid took it, so this is my screen with 12 columns, and then from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till here the sixth element. I had my example one, and then from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the other section of my thing, I had example two. So let me try to inspect it. And to inspect any kind of program, what we have to do is we have to click on inspect, right click, and then here in some option comes. Yeah. So here in if we see, so all the options would come which would have a breakpoint of S. Okay, so all the kinds of phone would come. So if I see in a bigger screen, for example, iPhone 12 Pro, my resolution and then the display would be similar, the alignment and everything would be display. In iPhone SE also it would look the same. In Surface Pro also it would look similar. In Samsung Galaxy also it would look in similar fashion. Okay. So for example, if we see Next Hub Max, nothing got changed. But if we like if you're not using grid and then if you see the same program in your phone, or if you see the same program in other things that I mentioned, it might matter if you're not using grid on any other things. So this is why Bootstrap comes into picture, and it is important to understand this concept. Okay. If we see folder and anything, if we see, so our value would remain the same. So let me just have one more partitioning. So what I'll do is I'll do Control C. Instead of 666, what I'll do is I'll have 444. Control S, go in the browser, and So I'm having this three, like as I told you, like now it divided, like now it took the element as 4 4 4. So my still here it is four, then four, and then the remaining part is four. Like is this concept clear, class? Like the program was clear to everyone, or you want me to explain it again? If not, then let me just write the flex code also. So as I told you, flex would also be similar to like the program would remain similar to uh, grid, but the only thing which would matter is, like instead of having this particular thing, like call hyphen sm hyphen this positioning for value which we gave, we'll not be having that. We'll be having only one class which we would declare. So let me just close this as well. Let me just delete this as well. And then in grid and flex, in both we'll be using containers. Okay, so here, let me just have a header. Right, flex. So let me just write one paragraph which shouldn't say anything. Actually, then inside my paragraph, what I'll do is I'll create my flex class. So div class is equal to, so for flex we have to use the hyphen flex class every time, and the other things would remain. So my size is 3. Okay, this is mainly a CSS element which I'll give me, and this is my flex class. Justify, like how do I want to justify my content? I want to justify my content as center. Okay, CNPR. So in center, I want to display my content. So this is it. Then always it should be, we have to make sure that it is always in double quotes, the class which we have declared, and then the elements which I want to display. So let me just write as if I'll just copy it. Right. So I have written like this, and then I guess I need one more closure for above. You can also use Notepad plus plus class. I told you there is one more Notepad tool which we use. So if you're using Notepad plus plus, and then if you're writing your HTML program, automatically the closures would come. Like if you open a body, the closure body would come. So that is also an easy thing. But for beginners, I would suggest always use a simple Notepad. Let me just refresh my page. If you can see, let me just zoom out my elements. So yeah, if you can see, like this is how my flex elements would display. Like I just the class which I used was justify the content in center. So what it did was it justified all my content in center. So like this, all my content is being justified into center. And then we have another flex class which is around. Okay, control is, we can see this also, around. So like it is having equal spacing. So around would, what around would do, like before and after the elements, it would have an equal spacing. Okay, we have one more flex class which is reverse. So all my elements, for example, example one, and I would not be able to show this example if I have like this. 3 and 4. So if I'm using reverse, the fourth element would be displayed first, and then 3, and then like this 2 1. So if we see example, okay, did I, let me just check. REVER. Okay, so like I did not change this, right? So if I'm using this reverse, if I want to display my content in a reverse order, I don't have to use this justify content center. So for that, I have to use flex hyphen row hyphen reverse. So what I'm doing is I'm reversing my row. So for reversing my row, flex hyphen row hyphen reverse would be used. So for example, here we are 4 3 2 1. So there are n number of flex classes which are available. Like you can just see on the official Bootstrap pages also, or you can just Google what are the things available. Depending on the requirement, you'll get n number of classes. So for example, for reverse also there are other classes also which is there. So you can just try and hunt it by yourself. And then I guess that's it. Let me just check if I have covered some other programs also. So, for example, for link, if I want to display a link in my Bootstrap program, so what I'll do is like this would remain normal. So these are the CDNs which I have imported, and then since we're not using grid or we're not using flex, this is a normal Bootstrap program. So for that, I have not used containers here also. I have just included a normal HTML CSS program link. So ahref here is equal to my link. Okay, so whenever I run this program, what it would do is like this output would come, like it would have a blue symbol, and then I can click on this particular link and then I can run my program. Okay, let me just run it. So if I click on this link, what would happen is a Learnovate official website would come here. It will get loaded. So we can have Learnovate official website. And I don't think I have more programs. That's it, I guess. Class, any doubts anybody is having? Any doubts, class? Any doubts anybody is having regarding Bootstrap or regarding any other topic which you want me to cover? Any doubts in HTML and CSS and in the other previous sessions which I have taken? So if not, you'll get your assignments from your mentors, and then if you have any doubts or if you have any or if you want me to ask anything apart from Bootstrap or apart from HTML and CSS, or if you want me to ask anything related to cloud, you can always reach out to me. I'll be happy to help all of you. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye, have a nice evening.